What is poppin', everybody? My name is Justin Woodward, and I'm one of the co-founders of the Mix and Black Voice in Gaming, as well as an advisor on the Black Game Developer Fund. Welcome to Black Voice in Gaming. We are going to talk to some creative and talented Black game developers today. It has been a minute, but I am back and helping to host the Black Voice in Gaming stream with my amazing co-hosts. What's happening, guys?
What is up? Thank you, Justin. It's always exciting to be here. My name is Derek Fields. I am a game designer, professor, and advisor for Black Voices in Gaming. It's one of my favorite things to be able to join the two of you on this show. Oh, this time the two of you. It usually does. It's me and you, right? So now we got Justin with us, which is exciting. Again, I'm excited to be here with both of y'all. Always excited to get to chat with the developers and see the other people who are contributing to the industry. What about you, Des?
Oh my God. Okay, guys, I just want you to know this is our second time doing it. And the first time Derek did not introduce me. So I'm very proud of you. Very proud of you. Thank you for that introduction. Thank you.
When he said Jeff is here, you said,
Hey everyone, it's good to be back. It's good to be back and joined by some of my favorite people in the gaming space. My name is Destiny and I'm the creator of Dames for Games. I'm also the marketing manager at Freedom Games and one of the hosts at Level 1 Gaming on the 2XP podcast. I'm super excited to be here. If you can't tell, we have an amazing showcase for you. We're bringing in some new developers, some new content creators, and we might have some announcements that you guys would be really excited to hear about. So before we get into any of that, Derek is going to jump in and tell us a little bit more about Bvig, why it started, and what it means.
That's right. So Bvig was created in June of 2020 during the protests and demonstrations that united us worldwide. Black Voices in Gaming has gone from a showcase to a nonprofit organization that helps accelerate the growth of professional game developers. Now, you might be wondering, how do we do all of that? Well, our mission is to facilitate a space where game studio entrepreneurs can have access to funding, meet publishers, and connect with mentors to help them succeed. Now, Justin, what about them sponsors?
We could not start the show without giving a shout out to our awesome partners and sponsors for this showcase. First, we'd like to thank our sponsors for their support: PlayStation, ID at Xbox, Raw Fury. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't even have got started. Razer, Wilson Sonsini for being pro bono partner for the Black Voice in Gaming cohort. And we have a very special announcement today. You heard it here first. We are honored to be partnering with Netflix on our first accelerator program called the Experience Excellence Accelerator, where we will be helping to fund 4 Black game development mobile studios. The accelerator will include workshops and curriculum from professional mentors and networking opportunities, with the goal of helping to boost professional developers' progress on their games and to get them ready for further investment and publishing opportunities. If you're interested in being a part of the Experience Excellence Bvig Netflix Mobile Game Accelerator, please submit your application and go to the website for more details. Gonna be dope.
Absolutely. Congratulations on that. And thanks so much to Netflix. And guys, when you look that up, make sure it's like XP as an experience, not EXP.
That's right,
just in case.
right.
Yeah, there's a big
That's
XP.
the whole name.
All right. The whole thing. But let's not forget about our broadcast partners: Twitch Gaming, IGN, GameSpot, and Steam. They're the reason why you're watching this today, and we just want to say we really, really appreciate it, because there are a lot of showcases out there and you guys chose us, so thanks. And speaking of Steam, don't forget to check out the Mixes event page, where you can learn more about Black Voices in Gaming titles, buy the available games, and add them to your wish list. Remember, wish list helps so much. It lets Steam know that these games are upcoming, they're really popular, and then, other people get to see the great games that our developers are creating. Now, let's talk about some donations, some merch, and socials. If you want to donate to Black Voices in Gaming's Tiltify, here's your chance. Grab your phones, snap the QR code on the screen. No amount is too small, and we truly appreciate it. Check out our merch, the Bvig shirts. We're always looking to expand. Justin's out here repping right now. Gorgeous model. Thank you. Also, remember to follow Bvig on Twitter at Bvi Gaming, Black Voices in Gaming on YouTube and on Instagram. And now that we've shouted out our appreciation, it's time to get this show rolling. Our first guest is Sir Billion. That's billion like in you make $1 billion. Like, remember that. There's money in his name. It's gold in that. With Breeze in the Clouds. Oh my god, that was cute.
Yeah, the become a storm in canine form really had me too.
The little barks in the background, like I could hear him barking as he was like doing his moves. But listen, the music threw me back to like Cowboy Bebop style. Like I was jamming as I was listening. You know what I mean? Like that jazzy kind of like upbeat. Like, no, that was sick. That was very sick.
Oh yeah, That's that throw hands jazz. You know, that's what.
Thank you, throw hands jazz. No, that was perfect. But we're gonna jump right into the interview with the amazing developer behind this game, Sir Billion. What is up? Are you with us? Come on through.
I am here. What's up?
Hey, like the shirt.
Oh, yeah, well marked.
No, it's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for taking some time out. I know it's like very, very busy right now, Summer Games Fest, and you're developing a game. But could you tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of like what got you started and the inspiration behind, you know, Puppies Kicking Butt?
Puppies Kicking Butt, I love that. Yeah, so Breeze is probably my first project of this scale. It kind of started off as a really like a opportunity to learn how to get into game development, kind of fresh out of college. I've done a lot of like game jams and smaller games before just to kind of test the waters of what it's like. And then one day I was actually daydreaming on a bus ride home, and this random idea came up where it was just like, hey, what if like this small dog is stuck trying to fix the weather on this broken cloud or something like that, right? And then eventually it kind of expanded into, you know, what it is now, this large 2D hand-drawn game where you're Corky, you know, beating stuff up in the clouds.
I love corgis. Okay, is there a reason why you picked a corgi in particular? Or is it just because they're cute and they have big booties? Like
they have big ears too. But yeah, no, I thought it would be cute to find like a cool but small dog to kind of feature as the protagonist. And we actually had a bit of trouble starting off because we weren't sure if he was going to be on 2s or 4s. And I was a little bit of a mediocre artist back then, and so he was coming out looking like a fox for a very long time. So eventually, once I got a few artists on board, we got Breeze to look more like a corgi. So
he's super cute. Like I love him.
I'm a big fan.
And we've just jumped into the game. So like Derek's got the 1s and 2s on this. I'm super excited because you guys know what it's like when I play a video game. But can you tell us a little bit about like the design? Like, so you talked about the corgi and like why you wanted to get a cute little dog, which he definitely looks like a main character. Like you guys did incredible on that. But like when it comes to like yeah. When it comes to the style of game, did you always know it was going to be a bit of like a fighter, side scroller, kind of like platforming type? Is that what you wanted to go for?
So originally when we started it out, it was actually a 3D platformer at first. Kind of just had like the generic 3D platformer stuff where it was just jumping on stuff, collecting coins. And then we added in the brawling just to kind of give Breeze some type of combat aspect, but it wasn't really mature back then. Then eventually I started really thinking about what a lot of my references are based off of, and it was stuff like Sonic the Hedgehog and Crash Bandicoot, a little bit of Mega Man, and a lot of like Saturday morning cartoons. And so I think it was around 2015, I sat down and said, hey, why don't we just make Breeze like a 2D cartoon kind of game? And so from there we started really trying to develop Breeze and a lot of the other characters to feel more like Saturday morning cartoon characters. With, you know, some inspirations from like Sonic and Crash Bandicoot and stuff like that. Just having all the characters look really appealing. and exists in this cartoon-like world.
Yeah, no, it totally works. I'm getting like Chip and Dale, I'm getting DuckTales, I'm getting this is like a show that you would watch on Disney with a big bowl of cereal.
It was called
and the
One
cereal
Second.
has him on the
Mascots
box. Yeah, like you could see this turning into a series. You should think about that. Definitely, because I think it would work. It's so cute. So I'm gonna throw it to Derek because he's in here and he's like throwing some combos and like giving them what for. Derek, how does the gameplay feel?
You know, my favorite part about playing this right now is that the combat feels snappy and responsive to every bit of input that I'm, throwing at the main character right now. And so I think my first question was, what was it like with you and your team just balancing out the feel of this game?
Definitely was a chore. So since Breeze kind of mixes in several different genres, we've got like the platforming aspects. We've got some inputs that are very similar to games like Smash Brothers. But then we also drew a lot of inspiration from fighting games like, I always like to say Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and a lot of the faster anime fighters. So finding a way to, make all of that work, being able to feel like you could do cool, flashy, fast stuff. It took a while to really kind of like nail that out. Even with like getting a lot of the enemy characters as well as the boss characters developed, there was a lot of back and forth between, hey, this guy's strong and this guy's weak. So we did a lot of like, internal playtesting to get the AI to feel like it's, challenging to a certain degree, but not too challenging to where like, we're not calling it puppy souls. That's what we were joking about within our team. Like we had it at a point where like everyone but me was struggling. So puppy souls it was called.
This is
good. I see.
I can tell that like he's on a train that's not in the U.S. because like dude is just minding his own business. Like he's sleeping through all of this. You know what I mean? If it was in the U.S., people would have already had out their cameras. World star.
Yeah,
so
definitely not Marta.
The character's so iconic though. Like I really feel like I don't know how to explain this, but he seems like a franchise starter. Do you know what I mean? Like you have Mario, who's a franchise, there's Sonic, and so like, was there a lot of thought put into that, or was it just kind of like, I just want a really cute character who's going to kick butt, or were you thinking about future plans with him?
It was kind of a future thought of like, let's make Breeze look, very iconic the way that, when Mario and Sonic came out, their designs really shined. So, pretty deliberate on that front. We just wanted to make him seem like a really strong character that could stand out.
I mean, he does. He really does. Now, if people wanted to wishlist the game, please tell me that you have a Steam page up.
We do. We actually launched a Steam page, I think about 2 weeks ago.
Excellent.
And guys, make sure you wishlist this game because it's incredible, and wishlist help the developer so much. It like helps with their algorithm. It shows Steam that this game is up and coming and popular. And honestly, I think it's going to be absolutely incredible. Like, I want to play it, but Derek gets to play it this time.
It feels as good as it looks. That's what I'm telling y'all. Yeah, I'd be jealous too if I didn't have the controller in hand.
See, I am jealous. Not that any of the other games I haven't played were great, but like I can tell, like I'm a button smasher, and I could tell I could probably do some damage just smashing some buttons going through this game. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Because I'm so terrible at remembering combos, and on that, do you have to remember any kind of like complicated combos to like really get far in the game, or can a button smasher like me like still enjoy it?
Yeah, so we have one button that's literally just attack, and then we've got another button that is like a special attack. So it's interesting. I got into a lot of fighting games while developing Breeze, because I always enjoy like watching tournaments and stuff, and I was always really bad at inputting quarter circles and stuff like that. Definitely had to learn to kind of understand it, but I wanted to simplify that for Breeze, in that like there are a couple of like advanced things that you could do, but it doesn't require like a a crazy amount of combo input sequences that you have to remember. So
I appreciate that so much. Like I really do. Is there a demo up for the game right now?
There's not a demo up for the game right now. I have been going to a few cons as of late with this build in particular to give folks an opportunity to kind of get a good gauge of like how the gameplay feels.
Nice, nice. Do you kind of have a date when you might have a demo? Because I definitely want people to try this game out. Like, it just looks too good to be true. I mean, if you can't tell us that information, it's okay. You know, you can tell me after the show.
Yeah, no
but if
plans
you could,
right now, unfortunately.
Okay. Guys, at some point there will be like a demo, I'm sure.
Yeah, just let
this is so good.
Eric let you play.
We have to throw attention to the comic book panels. You know, it looks so great. The art style is just consistent through from gameplay to cutscenes. I'm already hooked. I'm gonna try and beat this whole game. You better have enough levels here today because I'm just gonna keep going until there's
I want to
nothing
play
left.
after Derek plays. Now, before we jump to the end to get your socials so everybody can follow you, I know that you've worked with Humble Bundle and you've had some work with the Black Game Developer Fund. Can you tell us a little bit how that got started, how you got in contact with people? I want to know. I want to know all the details.
Okay, yeah, so funny enough, Justin hit me up on Twitter many summers ago to kind of, inform me about the Black Game Developer Fund. Then from there, we moved on to actually building out a prototype using those funds that we showed off to Humble. And they loved it so much, they ended up signing with us.
Nice. So Humble's your publisher now.
Yep.
That's what's up. Justin out here
That's big
connecting
news.
people. and that's, I mean, like, that's what you do. Like, that's what Black Voices and Gaming is all about, is setting people up to succeed. And so you're another success story. So it's great having you on and talking about how all of that came together. Now, if people want to find out more about you, keep up to date with the game and what you're doing, can you drop your socials for us?
For sure. Yeah, we've got our main website, breezethegame.com. We also have a Twitter account. That one's at breezegame. That's where I do a lot of my announcements, and I probably meme too much on Twitter, but if you enjoy that kind of stuff, you'll get it from there.
You can't meme too much. There's no
That's what it's for.
I might go overboard on April Fool sometimes.
He was like, we have the games coming out. It's April 1st. Everybody get excited.
Don't trust
Did you
any
do that?
information
For real?
on Monday.
That was terrible.
I made like 3 or 4 different versions of the game, if you will. One of them might have been a little bit too believable.
Like the Sonic got murdered game. That was crazy.
Oh,
I got it. That was
Which
crazy.
is a
because I dropped
functioning
on April
game.
1st.
Like
It is
yeah, that was
completely
wild.
functioning. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
You
thanks
still
again
get
for coming on. We really, I didn't mean to cut y'all off. I was just like, shh, shh. But thank you again for coming on. We really appreciate it. And that's it, guys. Like, I hope you check out the game. Make sure you go to Steam. Make sure you wishlist it. It really, really helps with the algorithm. It lets Steam know that this game is popping, it's up and coming. And that way it shows up on more people's wish lists and all kinds of things like that. So go do that. And again, huge thank you to Sarbillion for taking some time out to come onto the show. Your game is great, it's iconic, and I cannot wait to steal Derek's troller so I can play it myself.
You gotta pry it from these hands. All right, you just saw Heart Machine's Hyperlight Breaker. I am every bit of excited that this game is coming out, but this doesn't match my excitement to talk to our guest that we have today. That's Danielle Wallace from from Heart Machine. So, Danielle, how you doing?
I'm good, doing great. How are you guys?
Good.
Very
I am
good.
super hyped. I was trying to hold my composure after it was like everything is just so hyped with the build up and then the after credits. I don't know if you call it the after credits scene. It's looking super sick.
Thank you. I was like jamming out again when it played. I was like, yeah, it's so gorgeous.
I forgot how
Right.
hype I am for the game for sure.
How can you not? It's hard not to just vibe with the whole trailer. I mean, the music, everything is coming through.
It's so gorgeous. It's been such a fantastic project to work on, especially the style. Like, I feel like I was such a good fit to be a part of it, and I feel honored to work on it. For being honest.
Yeah. And that's what brings us to our conversation today. Danielle, I understand that you are a 3D environment artist at Heart Machine Games. Can you tell us a little bit about, what it's like working at this studio and working on such a cool project?
Yeah, so I'm a 3D environment artist there. I do, just for like a mini intro, I do a little bit of everything. So not just organic, but also hard surface and a bunch of other stuff like across the whole thing. So I can just like point through when Strato's playing, I did that and I did that kind of deal. But it's been absolutely fantastic being at Heart Machine. The team is literally everyone gets along so well, and every day I go into work because we're hybrid right now, so we go in 3 days a week. It's like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Everyone's like so nice, welcoming. Like even when I first got there, I'd like, hey, you want to do this on the weekend? Hey, we're going here. Hey, we're doing this, and it was so refreshing because you hear about so many horror stories in the industry, and I feel like I genuinely got lucky for this being like my first big intro into the industry, being at this company, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Where's the location? Where's the Heart Machine located? Where are you located?
It is in Culver City, and that's where I live as well. So I have maybe like a 10-minute commute, if that, some days, which is fantastic as well.
That's super dope. Just real quick, how did you get started at the studio? Like, kind of where did you get started, and how did you get to Heart Machine Games? I've been familiar, and I know Alex, and we had Hyperlight Drifter at a few events, so it's awesome to see that you're a part of the team. Yeah.
So I was at I actually kind of like got lucky again. Right out of college, I was working at this small studio called Sky Farm, which did a little bit of children's animation as well as games. So that was like contract work. And then after that, I was at Numinous Games, which made That Dragon Cancer, the VR game. And
what? You worked on that? Oh, that's
I didn't work
dope.
on that one, but I worked on with their upcoming project.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So it felt almost ironic and like to then go from that to Heart Machine because it's another impactful game, right? Like we know how absolutely impactful That Dragon Cancer was, and to be able to go to another company that's like, hey, a focus on emotion, telling a good story, and just kind of like making a difference in regard to just like storytelling or what they're trying to convey, and themes, etc., which feels really great. If I'm being honest. And I've been at Heart Machine now for what's it been, 2 years? 2 years and some change.
Oh,
So,
really? Wow,
Yeah.
that's cool.
It doesn't feel like it.
It's because you're too busy making all these dope assets. Yeah. Speaking of, you mentioned earlier. Well, first before I ask this next question, twice now you said that you got lucky, and I don't think it's not luck. You are a talented 3D artist, and you deserve to be in the position that you're in. So, say you manifested it, everything happened exactly as it should. Luck had nothing to do with it. You mentioned earlier being excited about some of the assets that are included in the game, and being like, oh, I saw that, and or I got to do that, and I've very personal witness to some of these Twitter moments of you identifying some of the contributions in those trailers. Is there anything in this trailer that we just saw that you were responsible for that we can call out?
Oh, actually, yeah. Wildly, one of the biggest things in the game is the background city. So when you start the game, you literally have the entirety of the like city skyline of like everything behind you, and that was like 85% me, if not a little bit more. And for a little bit of the background on that, it wasn't like they were like, "Hey, this is your task," which would have been wild anyway. I ended up doing just a couple of apartments. Yeah, a couple of apartments, and then I did another apartment, then another apartment, then all of the water towers, and then they were like, oh, also the bridge. And then after a point, it was like, okay, even my lead was like, this is just your piece now. Like this is yours. Even down to some of the lighting in that area when it turns to nighttime and then like shifts to nighttime city lights and stuff. So that's one thing. Another. Oh, sorry. You can go ahead.
Oh no! Go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you. I'm getting excited. I'm like thinking of things I want to talk about.
Rambling. Cool. Thank you. I'll say two more big ones. Was one of them when you run across, there's like a mural which is really unique. I wish we had more things like that in the game. Probably. Maybe down the line. But there's a mural you walk past. It's like almost like a Pixar skeleton that's on the side of one of the buildings that you see real quick when you go past. And I actually did I placed each individual tile on that thing because I wanted it to read like it was like pixel art, which seems kind of like a homage, right, to Drifter.
Cool.
So yeah, that felt like I felt honored to do that one as well, if I'm being honest. And another big one is the Titan swords. No matter like where you are in the game, you can always see one because they are like bigger than skyscrapers, if I'm being honest. Because they are, no matter where you are, you could see like the huge, like the lore of Titan swords being like left there and from the Titans there. So that was also an honor to work on because that's also one of the bigger pieces in Drifter as well.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
Incredible. It feels like, I mean, this is definitely the case, you know, because as I develop games, I know, Derek, you develop games, the environment is a character for sure, the biggest character. So you having a hand in that is pretty awesome. It's also cool to see like the different camera angle changes and that type of thing. Can you kind of break down a synopsis of how the environment activates the player activates the environment and how it plays a role in the gameplay?
Yeah, so I'll say, that's a hard one. How do I approach that one? The style plays such a huge role in the overall feel of the game. Every time we make an asset, it's like, hey, does this feel like it's in universe? Hey, does this feel like Drifter? Even my lead gets like so excited, like being able to like make like tech blocks or the homage to like the drop down labs in Drifter, right? Like you'd fall and go underneath the long thing. And then like, hey, what does that look like in 3D? Or like, hey, what would this asset look like in 3D? And be able to stay on style and actually legitimately give pieces of ourselves for how we think that would look as well, because sometimes we don't get like full concepts. Usually most of the time it is, but if actually on that point, playing into the environment thing, it's been fantastic being able to have so much creative direction at Art Machine as well. Like it's not always just like, hey, here's a thing. If I'm like, oh, hey, I think this would look a little better this way, or hey, per in universe, I think this color change, or even like some when I was making a boss arena, I got to do like little changes, big changes here and there in regard to how that was approached. So it feels wild to be given creative direction, especially since I've only been in the industry like 3 years now. So I'm like, you guys are trusting me with that, but it feels really good. So yeah.
That's incredible. I'm curious to know. Is there any other media or games that have played an influence to some of the content that you're driving in inside Heart Machine?
I was like, I thought I had an answer before you said like the second half of that, and then I was like, then there's like another answer. For games in general that have influenced me, and I think influenced my art style. I loved the Spyro series growing up, as well as like Cooper, Harvest Moon, etc., and how well the environments told a story and told what the universe was, right? Like you can throw art together, but if you aren't telling it through a certain style or angle, then you don't get the full breadth of like, hey, what is this world? What are you supposed to feel? What are the emotions you're supposed to feel through the game? I think in regard to specifically Heart Machine, we've taken like a couple of influences from one of them. One I think that was most influential for me was Rhyme, at least in regard to like the art style. I love how absolutely soft and open that world feels, and warm. Like I think for most of the game, there's like not even like music playing. It's like you just feel like you're in a different universe, and like that's what I want the player to feel when they're going through Heart Machine, I think. So, or going through Hyperlight Breaker. Going through Heart Machine.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that's super cool. What are you playing now? Like just in general, like cause it's always cool to see what folks like developers and artists are playing, you know, while they're making stuff.
Okay, the default answer is like Tears of the Kingdom, but I'm playing through that right now because it's, gosh, that game's gorgeous. But another one is Horizon Forbidden West is another one because I've really gotten through that game because of how gorgeous the environments are. Like I just start and I'm like, whoa, look at that, how that's placed, or like look at the details on that, and I'm like, I don't know what they did. I need to see more talks on that. I think one more is Disco Elysium. That's another big one for me as well. I love the absolutely great storytelling in that game.
Wait, which one? Oh, Disco Elysium.
Disco Elysium.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
I still need to leap into that one. But Danielle, I think this is all the time that we have with you today. It's been excellent to hear both your vision and your contributions to Heart Machine. And I'm excited to see these giant swords and other assets you've developed for Hyperlight Breaker. Before we're out of here, where can people find you if they want to keep up with all the tweets of you identifying the assets that you worked on?
Yeah, so you can find me, I think on several, I think I'm the same name as several, on Twitter, dpandaheart, so dpandaheart, at twitter.com. Same thing for Instagram, as well as, I'm not sure how to like link my LinkedIn, but I'm on there too. If you search me as an environment artist, I'll pop up for sure on there, because there's not many Danielles. I think Danielle Wallace is on in the game dev space, so.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us. I mean, it's so awesome that you're enthusiastic about it. Been in the game for now 3 years. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
That's right.
That's awesome, because you're, you know, it's not always easy to break in, and you're breaking in at a great place, like, you know, and you have such creative freedom and great collaborative experiences. So thanks for joining us.
Feels good. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much.
All right. That is Roller Girl. It looks super dope, and we're here with Indigo Doyle. What is up, Indigo?
Hey, not much. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here and talk about the game.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
No, fire away. It's all you.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, thanks for joining us. The game looks really interesting. I've never seen anything like it, really. It looks very serene and like an interesting narrative experience. Can you tell us a little bit about Roller Girl?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. I'm glad that it's coming across as that, because that's what I really want people to see. So yeah, it's very much a relaxing game of taking your time, not having a ton of time constraints or things that you have to complete. I kind of always say that it's like a game of side quests, because whenever I play a long game, I don't even do the main quest half the time, right? So I really enjoy that. And it's also heavily based on my childhood growing up in a small city where I would rollerblade like everywhere. So it's really exciting to sort of put myself into a game and see my experiences come to life and watch other people sort of play them and relate to them as well, it's been really awesome.
How did you get started in game development and get started with this particular game?
So I got started in game development when I went to school back in 2013. I didn't really have any idea what I wanted to do other than I liked drawing, so I was like, maybe concept art. But then once I started doing concept art, I realized that I didn't like it, and I started learning 3D for the first time, and I was like immediately obsessed. And so from there, I started practicing, building up a portfolio. And after several years of kind of doing it on the side and working in a different field, I finally decided to just take the plunge during the pandemic, actually, and go out into doing freelance full time. And then from there, I kind of started thinking about what kind of games I would like to make myself. And I was like, people say write what you know, so I feel like develop what you know kind of works a little bit too. And I just wanted to make kind of just a little proof of concept for this game, and then it kind of just grew from there, and people really like the idea of the whole premise and everything, and especially the way that the music affects the game. So it's just been a really exciting journey from there.
It looks super cool. Derek is driving right now. Can you talk a little bit about what's going on with the game and the narrative of the story?
Yeah, for sure. So within the game, the main character is Naomi. She's based off of me, and so she's mainly rollerblading around this small little town. Everyone around is kind of like a quirky local small town person with entertaining personalities and like quirky little stories. And so she has recently been gifted this car that has a bit of work that needs to be done to it, so she can't drive it. So she's rollerblading around, asking people, hey, do you have any jobs I can do so I can make some money and fix up this car, which I came up with the idea because that actually kind of happened to me a little bit. I had purchased my first car. I was so excited. I saved up so much money, and it was like a nice, like kind of sports car. Not really.
Wait, what car was it? I have to
okay,
ask.
so it's not a sports car, because now that you've asked, it's gonna be embarrassing because it's not actually a sports car, but compared to what compared to what other people were buying at my age, I was like, this is like a sporty car. It was like a Tiburon, like a Hyundai Tiburon from like 2004. So it was like kind of curvy. Everyone was buying like a Pontiac Sunfire, and I was like, I'm gonna be different, and I'm gonna get this blue Tiburon. So yeah, I bought that, and it had like crack in the windshield. It was missing spark plugs. I couldn't drive it. And everyone was mocking me. They were like, you have a car, but you can't drive it. Like, haha. And I was like, just like sad for like 6 to 8 months trying to save up money to fix it. So I really liked putting that idea into the game of like, you have this, but you can't use it. And I still loved rollerblading around when I had the car. So it's kind of just combining two of those things.
Did you really do? I'm just curious. Did you do odd jobs to get the money, or was it?
Not really. Not specifically odd jobs. I did have a paper route for 6 years, so that's where this quest that you're doing right now kind of comes into play. And there was a lot of like, if you had a paper route and you had to take the weekend off, you had to find someone to cover for you. Which is basically what the character just did. He was like, I want to go somewhere, do my papers for me. And you're like, well, I could use the money. So why not? But yeah, I actually had like a part-time job at the movie theater, so I didn't do odd jobs, but I probably would have if needed.
Can you tell us a little bit about the playlist system? Because it's very unique. I mean, just looking at like checking out the trailer, you go into that. Can you talk about that system and where you're going with it?
Yeah, for sure. So the playlist system is like literally just based off of when I was like 15 and I had an iPod Nano and I had playlists on it that were based off of sort of how I was feeling. So if I was having a really great day, I'd have this like really great playlist where it felt like everything was just like gorgeous and sunny and bright. And then if I was having a bad day, I'd have sort of the opposite, where it's very like moody and like sad. And I feel like as a teenager, everything is kind of like really dramatic. So if you're having a bad day and you're listening to that song, the world around you kind of feels like, oh, like everything is like shrinking in on me and I'm like alone. And if you're having a great day, then it's kind of like the sun shining, you're walking on sunshine type of thing. So that's what we're implementing here, of having the music not only change the visuals, but also affect the narrative and what things are available to you depending on that state as well.
So can you like collect other like songs that like boost up your playlist? I'm super curious about this.
Yes, so we actually can. There is a couple of pickups placed around the world that you can grab, and they'll unlock new music for your playlist.
Nice.
Which is I'm pretty happy about that, because it's kind of based off of when you're kind of like walking around. I always say like after it snows, you find like little stuff on the ground that people dropped into snowbanks and couldn't find anymore. So it's kind of based off of that. If you find an item, the song that's linked to it is kind of related to that item and tells a bit of a story about like who dropped it or what that item meant to that person.
That's cool. Who's doing the music? Are you sourcing it from different artists that you like? Are you doing the music?
Right. So I'm glad you asked that, because I was actually about to point it out. So right now the music is just some free music that we found, but we're in the progress of contacting indie bands from Ontario that kind of give off the same vibe of the game, so we can license them
Very
into
cool.
it. And sort of shine like a bit of a light on the local music industry here, which is really exciting. I like to always say that Avril Lavigne was from the town that this is based off of, so like she should be in it. But yeah, it's,
Yes.
we're planning on getting some local artists into the game for sure.
Speaking of the town, as I'm cruising around here, I'm delivering newspapers, and there's definitely a sense of life and reality to the neighborhood. I'd love to know more about what it was like, building the environment and building a space that, feels authentic.
For sure. So yeah, it was based off of Belleville, Ontario, which if anyone knows, like shout out to you, because no one knows where it is because it's so small. But I grew up there, and it was really exciting to kind of like spend time building it. People think that I'm kind of insane because I pretty much hand built all of these houses, but I was like really dedicated to make them look unique. Majority of the houses should look different. Like I'll tell you a secret, they are a lot of the same house, but they do have like aspects that are different, different materials, different props outside, but the bases are pretty much the same. But there are a couple of houses that are like very specifically built to look exactly the same as the house in real life, because I got really obsessed. Making props and environments is my like main focus. So I really had a good time making all of these assets, and it's been really interesting to sort of like see the town sort of like become itself, and then watching other people go through it. They don't really have the same sort of like memories of the area as me, so it's interesting to see what they interpret it as, because to me, I'm like, yeah, that's Albert Street, that's totally chill, and they're like, I don't know where I am, and I'm like, oh, I guess not everyone grew up there.
This dude is trying to like climb trees with rollerblades. I'm amazed. I need to. I need to.
I will do whatever it takes to deliver these papers. Let me tell you.
Oh my gosh, we actually have a bit of a glitch where if you jump on certain things near trees, you could kind of glitch the collision and jump into the tree. But I will leave that to the imagination. If you want to try it, you can.
How many people are on your team?
So right now, I'm just I keep losing track because in my head it's like 5, but I think it's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so we're 4 right now. Sorry. There's a lot of moving people, but yeah, there's 4 of us right now.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Where are you at in development?
So right now we're kind of in concept definition phase. We've done a lot of pre-production and proof of concept testing, stuff like that, and now we're trying to sort of build out all of the main mechanics, which they are in place, but we want to polish them a bit more and allow them to feel just a bit more intuitive. And then we're also in the phase of looking for more funding, hopefully finding a compatible publisher and just fully building it out. We're hoping to finish development within about a year, but it's very dependent on a lot of moving pieces.
Yeah.
I was about to ask. Go ahead, Derek.
No, just tacking on a sort of a wrapping question here, but building this sort of slice of life game, was there anything that you wanted to include, but you were like, this one's not going to make it into the project, maybe next one?
There's a lot of like little features. Like I have feature creep every day where I really want to add in like putting in tricks or putting in a customization system, having unlockable areas, kind of like Tony Hawk.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of little things. So it's kind of hard to not put them in, just because of budget and timing. I always say that like if the budget was endless, we would never finish this game because there's so many things I want to add into it. But yeah, I'm happy with how it's going though. Sorry?
Can you sketch?
No, we decided not to put cars in the game just because it's the vibe is very like relaxed, and even in the city that it's from, there's not that much traffic. Like you could lay in the middle of the road and probably not get hit for like at least 20 minutes. Like
it's perfect for skating.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, the game looks
Cool.
super dope.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing it with us. Where can we find? I know the demo is on itch, right? Do you have a Steam page set up and everything?
So right now we don't have a Steam page, but we will hopefully be announcing a Steam page in the next month or so.
Okay, you got to get that mug up so we can promote your Steam page and get you some wish list ASAP.
Yes, for sure.
For sure. So where can we find more about you, the development of Roller Girl, and everything that you're working on?
So the best place would be on Twitter right now, which is at Roller Girl Game on Twitter. We do also have an Instagram and a Discord, which is all linked on the Twitter bio. And we also have a newsletter that we send out every month, so people can join that as well. And yeah, we're pretty much everywhere on socials as Roller Girl Game. And then I guess for me personally, it's my name, Indigo Doyle, on Twitter. That's my main source of social media for the moment.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Everybody check out Roller Girl, get the demo. And we got to talk about some funding opportunities potentially. I know I'm putting you on blast again, but yeah, we got to connect on that.
For sure. I'll take it.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. All right. Well, we have another special guest with us today. That is Lisette Montgomery. Lisette, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I am doing excellent. I'm really excited to hear about all the things that you're up to, some of the stirrings that are happening. Of course, those details we'll dig into very shortly. But if you just give a little bit of background about yourself and what you're up to these days.
Hi. Welcome everyone to the stream. My name is Lisette Montgomery, and I've been making games for, it's been 22 years now. I've done everything from mobile to PC to a lot of time in AAA. And my last project was Psychonauts 2, and now I'm currently starting my own studio called Cornerstone Interactive, working on really focused, mature, narrative-driven games.
That's so dope. I'm excited. Yes. I love those type of games. And kudos to you for being in the industry for this long, because I know like you have to pay your dues or whatever, and sometimes it can be very toxic, but like you stuck with it, and it's incredible to see that you've worked on other people's dreams, and now you have your studio and you're working on what you want to work on and putting out. So like congratulations on that. When I get older, I want to be just like you. So I want to grow to be just like you.
I'm not that old, but yes.
Right. I was like, wait, what are you saying?
It's not saying that you're older. It's just saying that like I want to be at that level that you're at. That's what I want.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Just giving you
just giving you a hard time right out the gate, man. So yes, it's been quite the ride. It's been quite the ride.
you've been doing great things and are continuing to do great things in the industry. I think a highlight of wanting to talk to you today, it certainly centers around what's cooking with Cornerstone Interactive. But before we get there, it would be really excellent to hear about some of that history. You mentioned Psychonauts and some other spaces that you've been involved in as well. Could you expand on some of that?
Yes, like it's been a long journey. In the last 10 years, I've been really focused on advocacy work. I think throughout my career, especially coming up, I noticed that I was often the one of two on the floor, and everyone knew who I was, but I didn't know who everyone else was because of that. And so for me, I sort of really turned into like, what can I do? How can I share my knowledge to change that? And so for the last 10 years, I've been working on Game Heads, which is a nonprofit here in Oakland, where we take students from 18 to 24, and we teach them how to make video games, from their first video game to how many other prototypes they want to develop with us. We've had some students in the program for the last total of 9 years, and they stayed through us through college. Now they're developing prototypes. Some of them are getting published, and some of our students are actually getting hired at some of the biggest studios in the world. So I'm really proud of the work we're doing.
Aww.
And I see Cornerstone as the next extension of that.
That's incredible.
That is really, really cool. So my question is, like, I love that you're doing advocacy and that you're helping like younger people come up into like this industry, because we are trying to build a foundation. That is what Black Voices in Gaming is about. What is some advice that you would give to, I'm going to take it from like a feminine point of view, because I'm also in the game industry. And like you said, there's only so many of us, right? What kind of advice would you give to a young Black girl who is excited about gaming, loves gaming, but like just doesn't feel like she fits? Like, what kind of motivational thing would you say to her?
I would say don't focus on what you see, focus on what you can create. I think there's a huge opportunity to create content for, when I say a mature audience, I mean emotionally mature audience, not just an X-rated and violent mature audience.
Right.
And I think there's a major distinction there. And I think that comes with creating content specifically for new demographics. We've been hyper focused on what I would consider a niche, if you look at the total global population of who gamers are. And there hasn't been a lot of effort in really appealing to older gamers, more gamers of color, more players who are not necessarily interested in like adversarial sort of games, but collaborative games. And so I would say focus on what you want to play and the games you want to make, instead of regurgitating the same stuff we've made, because that's not going to get anyone anywhere. I mean, there are people who own that space. You're better off like reinventing and finding and creating through your own voice.
I love that. That's sound advice. So if you're listening out there, this goes for anyone actually who's listening today and who wants to get into the gaming field, like I think it's best when you tell stories that and then you're able to form them and mold them into something that like, it's just something beautiful about storytelling. So do what you know. And if you do what you know, I guarantee you'll find somebody who will pick up on it and love it. And I feel like that's basically what you're saying. So thank you for that.
Yep.
Yeah, that resonates in a really big way. A part of the work that you've been doing in Game Heads and the value that's been creating there, you're identifying, the folks who have been going on and creating prototypes and so on. How are any of these people, starting to find their way as potential contributors to Cornerstone, or do you find yourself, seeking to continue to collaborate with any of those individuals that you've mentored or supported?
Well, I think for me, Cornerstone is sort of what we consider like the next phase. And so it is a separate entity for me from Game Heads that is purely focused on people who are 18 to 24. But Cornerstone is a business. So we are going to be a premier gaming studio. So we'll be hiring people from Game Heads, hopefully. But in the short term, what we're going to be looking for is more senior talent to help build the structure of the studio before we start bringing in people who are new. But the whole goal is that the whole arc of the company, as we develop more and more hits, so we can do of like hackathon or sort of game jam culture within the studio as well, so that anyone can bring a pitch forward. So that's the long-term goal, is we are creating a safe, fun, like creative play space for people who haven't been catered to before. And I want to see what kind of stories and opportunities come from creating that space. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I have one other follow-up question relating to, kind of making these transitions and developing a new space. As somebody who too is in a state of developing a new studio, or expanding some developments at a studio, for those developers out there, those people who are interested in some of the more entrepreneurial side of games, any advice that you might give to somebody who is breaking out a little differently, maybe not seeking to work for their favorite company or work for a new company, but saying, I want to make something of my own?
I would say the best thing you could do is get to a MVP as quickly as possible. It's a lot of people just sit in the ideation phase and they think about all the aspects of the game and their every little nuance, but there's like nothing on the controller to play. So you're really you could be really stuck in this thought space, but the proof is in the pudding, and that pudding is what happens on the screen. So the quicker you can get to a minimal viable product and have something to play, the quicker you could build pipelines to iterate so that you can get to good faster, the better off you'll be. And like, don't get stuck so much in the conceptual phase that you're just kind of lost in the world you built for yourself and you can't get out.
Yeah, that's excellent advice.
Yeah, especially because I feel like a lot of people, when they start making games, your game's going to change. Like the idea, the story, like you might have a core idea, but there's so many changes that are going to happen. Like, get that light outline and then just start working, just start doing it. That's what I've been hearing from a lot of developers and a lot of people at studios. Like, just do it, just make it happen. And I know that's easier said than done, but we have Lisette's here, she did it. Derek's here, he did it. You know what I mean? Everybody who's been here has at some point had to start with an idea, and it's blossomed into something incredible. I had a question. So I know you were talking about the age range from 18 to 24. Is there any specific reason why you picked that age range and it doesn't move on, any older or any younger? Like, what is it about that age range that you were like, these are the kids and the adults that I want to focus on?
A bit of a correction. It's 14 to 24, but a lot of our students are 18 to 24.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think one of two things, especially the high school student range, we sort of target that range because it's kind of the last hurdle to get students into STEM before they get into college. So ideally, we would like to get them exposed to these concepts as quickly as possible, get them making their first game as quickly as possible, because the longer they're exposed to these concepts, the more knowledge they will gain over time. And so that gives them a leg up on someone who's just starting right in college. Plus, it gives them something to show when they're applying to schools. So they can say, oh, I've made a prototype, I'm serious about this, rather than saying, I think this would be a great idea, but not really having a strong understanding. So for us, it's trying to capture them while they are a captive audience. I think most teenagers play games now, especially since the pandemic, since it was really their only social outlet that was accessible to them. So what you're really seeing now is a new Generation Alpha is completely online. Like 100% almost play games unless their parents don't let them, and they're still being indoctrinated into these toxic cultures, right? Yeah. So what we want is for our students to really think about themselves as game creators, not just consumers, and what kind of games that they want to create for themselves, not the reflection of what has been given to them.
I love that. And okay, we're running close on like the end of time, but I know it's in Oakland, but do you guys have any plans of expanding to other areas? Or is this just like, I really wanted to focus on where I live and help my community?
The program is actually online. It's free. It's all year round. And anyone from any time zone that can make it work is allowed to join. We have students in Hawaii. We have students that are out of the country. We have students that are in the East Coast. So we expanded the program to make sure that we can get as many students that as we can access if they really want it. And with Cornerstone, we're doing the same thing. We're going to be a remote studio because I want to hire artists from anywhere in the world.
That's the way to do it.
I want to, you can't really say you're a diverse company if you're only willing to hire within the United States. So for me, I think it's important that international access and the digital divide sort of removes that barrier.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that with us. I've learned so much, and I feel like there's so much more I could learn, but we have such a short amount of time. But if you are interested and you want to find out more, definitely look into this. Lisette, if they want to learn how to become a part of the program, if they want to see what you're doing and how the studio's going and maybe, apply, where can they get all that information at?
Sure. If you're a student or someone who is actually in college but looking for people to make games with and looking to learn from the best in the industry, you can go to gameheadsoakland.org. When our application process opens, usually in the fall, make sure you apply because those slots get filled quick. And for Cornerstone Interactive, I would say look out in the next few months. We're starting to recruit artists as we're developing pitches, and I'm hoping to start getting out there to get some cash flow toward the end of the year. So follow me on Twitter at Z16 or on LinkedIn. Just use my name and keep a lookout. There's some exciting news coming.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, Derek, that was incredible. Like, I feel so inspired now, and I can't hear you if you're talking. Derek, are you talking?
I am talking. I made the mistake of muting myself for any background sounds. I have a little one. You never know what to expect.
I understand.
Yes. No, I am excited as well. And I was saying, you heard it here first. And so, yes, please stay tapped in with what Lisette is up to. And it's been a pleasure to be able to hear from your expertise and really gain so much insight in such a concise moment.
Absolutely. Guys, we still have so much more to go. Like, you already heard her. We have the best of the best on the show. Like, this is dope. So again, thank you, Lisette. Guys, keep up with her. If you're interested in becoming a gamer, if you want to see what else she's putting out, go follow her. Don't delay. Literally just pick up your phone and do it. It's so simple. And we'll catch you in the next interview. Thanks. Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm super excited because we have something a little different this time. Like, I know we always talk about games and developers, which is definitely dope, but we are going to bring on two creators of a blurred box. I know you guys have heard of subscription boxes before, but this one is incredible. And I would go into detail about it, but I'm going to let them explain how they came together, what inspired them to do it, and we may have a partnership or something going on that we'll talk about a little later. And just make sure you stay tuned because it's all good stuff. It's all good stuff. So Hanif and Kay, are you there? Are you with us?
Yes. Thank you for having us.
No, thank you for coming on. Like, I was super excited when we first talked about it. I was like, we got to get you on Black Voices in Gaming because I've never heard of a blurred box for Black nerds. Like, I think that's super incredible. That's dope. And I used to subscribe to a couple of boxes, but now I'm definitely just going to exclusively subscribe to yeah. But anyways, tell us about Otaku Noir. Tell us how you got started. Like, what was the inspiration behind it? We want to know all the details.
The inspiration is actually Kay. She's the inspiration. I guess I'll tell a story because then Kay can tell me how wrong I am in it. Pretty much this we created it. She came up with the idea during the pandemic. As you know, during the great panini in the sky, we couldn't go to any Comic-Con events. Those were suspended or closed down indefinitely. So we missed seeing our local Black creators, seeing what independent books they were doing, buying their artwork. And so Kay just one day she just tweeted me and said, you know what, I wish we had a service there. We can just subscribe to Black creators' content, just have it shipped to our house. And I literally like got out of bed, no lie, just got out of bed and went onto the computer, looked it up. No, I didn't see anyone doing this, so let's do this. This sounds like a great idea. I don't know why we never thought of it. And we just started rolling with it. We made set up a business where we do quarterly boxes, and each box has a different theme. And usually each box is going to come with a t-shirt, collectibles, books, artwork, all from different creators of color. It's something I'm glad it's something I wish we had created years ago.
I mean, but there's no time like the present, right? And now you guys have got it going, and it's super dope because listen, like there are so many Black creators out there. Like one of the reasons why Black Voices in Gaming is what it is because there's so many game developers out there that nobody sees, right? Mm-hmm. So you doing something like that for the community, like I'm inspired. Like I just think that's really, really cool. I know I've said that like 32 times already, but I really do. Like taking things for the community and using it in a way to bring us together, even when we couldn't physically be together, like that's something. Like, Kay, you woke up that morning, you were like, I came to get stuff started. And you did. This is it. Like, and now you're here, you're talking about the box. And I know you were talking about saying each box has a different theme. And I know that there's a special theme that's going to be going on with this box. So would you show us the box that you guys have put together and tell us a little bit about the theme?
This is the current theme. This is going to be shipped out this month, this June, since we're quarterly. So this is the June box, and we worked with Blurred Official. It's going to have exclusive limited edition T-shirt that you can't get even on their website. It's going to have a lot of different items that are from Blurred.com, as well as our artwork. I don't want to spoil it, but we do have some autographed books inside here too from some creators of color as well. So. I know people are going to really be excited, and one thing we want to let people know that each box is like a mini Comic-Con experience. You know, you get in the lanyard, you get in the badges, you get in the stickers, you get in all of the other kind of swag you normally would pick up when you go to a comic convention. That's
what's up. Okay, we haven't heard from you, and I want to hear from you. So
yes, Kay, talk.
You got to talk, Kay. You got to talk. So
do I know? Like that's the whole point of a silent partner.
No, you signed up to come on to an interview. You can't be silent. What is that?
Okay, so technically, let me just say, just like with the idea of the box, I did not initially meant for us to create the box. I was just saying I wish there was a service like that. Someone took my idea and was like, why don't we do it? I was like, no. Like, I was hesitant. I was like, I didn't mean us. Like, I'm not that kind of person. I don't know how to do any of these things. So I get roped into stuff. I have an idea and someone, him, decides, you know what, that's a really good idea. It's kind of not cool.
Okay, the lesson from this is like, not telling anybody else your cool ideas if you don't want to get roped in, but it's too late, baby. You're here. You know what I mean?
It is, and I am glad that he ran with this idea because I've been loving seeing everybody's reaction. Like I'm a lurker. So I will search videos of people responding and like how they enjoy the box. So like that's why I'm like I don't like being in front of the camera because I'm like then I can't like lurk and like I go to cons and I see people and I'm like oh this is cool and they just don't know who I am. I'm like that's great. They know who he is. They don't need to know me. They know him. They know the face. It's a brilliant thing for me.
I hate to break it to you, but everybody's gonna know who you are now because you're on Black Voices in Gaming. But listen, I'm really like, let me just tell you how important it is that you are on here because there are so many spaces that are just full of men that it's really nice to see a woman in this space, regardless if like you don't want to be on it. Like after this, I promise we won't bring you back if you don't want to come back. But if you want to come back, we'll bring you back. But it's so important to see people who look like you. Like that's part of the reason why we do this show. That's part of the reason why I put together Dames for Games is because representation matters. And there's some little girl out there who loves to cosplay, who loves going to conventions, and she's gonna watch this and she's gonna be like, oh my God, maybe I can do that someday. So whether you know it or not, you are making changes, okay? There's somebody out there just like you who's like, man, I just wanna lurk. But they're gonna see that like you were able to get up in front of this camera and talk about this, and like that's really inspiring, Kay. I just want you to know that. You may not think it is, but that's super inspiring.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's the lurker in me. I can't. It's hard to pull away from being a lurker. I'm sorry. It's really hard.
I understand. I'm a bit of an introvert too. It doesn't seem like it because I'm in front of the camera and I have to like play it up for the camera, you know. But yeah, I like to lurk too. I lurk on Twitter a lot, so no worries. But Kay, tell us how did you and Hanif meet? Because I feel that it feels like a brother sisterly vibe. Like you definitely give him his shots, and he's like, dang, like she came in swinging, y'all. So tell us a little bit about that.
So I'm friends with his wife.
Okay.
Me and his wife met in like 2004, and then she married him, and I was like, really? Do you have to? I'm losing a friend.
I feel that.
I do like him now.
No,
I like him
feel
now.
That. That's fair because I don't like my friend's husband. So see, you're doing better than I am. It is like losing a limb, y'all. I don't know. I can't. But Hanif, you seem really cool. I would like you to.
Thank you. I'm the plus one. That's pretty much what it is. I married into this.
As long as you know where you stand, you know what I'm saying? Like you know your role, then it's all good.
Yeah. And my wife, as Kay says, she has ideas. My wife is the creative director. A lot of times she just comes in, why don't you guys do this? And then she sidles off with these like, what was this? These are great ideas. We should run with that. So yeah.
Yeah, teamwork makes the dream work. Derek, did you have any questions that you wanted to ask? Because I know when I first approached you about it, you were like, yeah, we have to have him on the show. Oh, Derek, you're muted.
I mute as a contingency. I have a baby in the background who might, scream. It's a background thing. Also dogs and stuff like that. So, okay. Anyways, the point being, Des is accurate in saying that when she approached about the blurred box Otaku Noir, I was absolutely excited. Without hesitation, I was like, yes, please sign me up. Those are those dogs I mentioned earlier. But my question goes back to the strategy. You mentioned it kind of being born out of the pandemic, and I think that ended up being really excellent time. You identified a need and then went to go confirm if that need had already existed somewhere, and then decided to fill that space up. So out came from that a new strategy, and I'm curious, what are your plans currently, and how are you keeping the momentum flowing? What are your current strategies for Otaku Noir?
I think what we can do now that everyone can go back out, maskless or whatever, and do conventions, it doesn't stop us from doing what we're doing, because not everyone can make it to San Diego Comic-Con, Anime NYC, MomoCon, or HBCU, BlurCon. I mean, there's hundreds of conventions. Unfortunately, not hundreds of Black-owned conventions, but there's still hundreds, if not thousands, of Black creators, writers, artists, musicians, game developers. We want this box to be an opportunity for them to expand their reach, expand their audience. We want to be a herald for them. Find out about Bvig. Find out about D4G. I never heard of it. What's that? It's in the box. Open up the box. You have the information. You can go to the website to learn more, to support them directly. You don't have to continue to go through Otaku Noir to find out about this new writer that I heard about. I never knew about this manga before I got this box, and now you're a fan of them. That's what we like. Kay says, we love seeing the unboxings. We love getting the DMs from people who enjoy the stuff, or telling us, I had to open up the box before my kids came home because last box they took the T-shirt and I didn't get anything. I mean, it's nice to know that our ideas are bringing some happiness to people like that. But going forward, I think each box is kind of like reinventing ourselves. What new theme have we not done? Because when you create your own company, as you know, you can do what you want, but there's so many things out there, so much wonderful content out there that we can only put so much in one box per quarter. So it's like we come up with ideas. Like I said, we collaborated with Blurred to produce this box. We did a Black fantasy box last year called Blurred of the Rings, where we created our own world, had our own coins, maps, deck of cards that had like Black mermaids, Black royalty, and stuff like that. We did one exclusive about villains. I mean, there's so much stuff that we can do. We have another box coming out in September that I know you guys are gonna we'll tell your audience about in a little bit. But there's so much that we can do that I think looking at our company is similar to going down the bread aisle at the supermarket, where you don't just have one type of bread. You can have hundreds, if not thousands, of different types of bread, whole wheat, white bread, whatever. That's what our box is like. We have something for everybody.
And that's what's
Excellent.
up. Yeah. I know one of the things that I saw that you were promoting Vampire in Brooklyn, and it was a cereal box, and that was, oh my God. I've never seen that before. Do you have the Vampire in Brooklyn cereal box? Because listen, that should have been a real cereal right there.
Well,
okay.
We're not culinary experts. We don't want nobody getting food poisoning here.
Like that's where we draw the line. We can give you ideas. No, we can put confetti in it, but if you don't want anything that we will cook.
You're like, nobody's getting any Cocoa Puffs. Like,
that's
we're not
incredible.
Yeah, it's just we come up with our own custom mazes and the word and like the
let's go
the word jumble and stuff. Even got the fake ingredients. Dictionary facts,
100% blurred.
100% blurred, no knowledge, 100%, melanin, 100%, gatekeeping 0. So, things like
Yo, that gatekeeping one, that's on point. That's on point. Because it's about community. It's about teamwork, right? And like, I love some of the things that you were saying earlier. Like, it's not just about like what we can put in the box. It's about like putting things in the box that gets other people known for what they're doing. And you don't have to keep subscribing to us, but like if you find something you like and you keep subscribing to like getting those comics or like getting that art, like that's helping somebody else in the community. And I love that. So we are running short on time, but before we do, I just want to quickly talk about the box that we are partnering with you. So Dames for Games and Black Voices in Gaming are partnering with Otaku Noir to bring you guys the most incredible blurred box experience ever. And I think we have a box that we could show them what it looks like. Like it looks so dope, guys. Like it's incredible.
This is
drum roll.
The box. I don't know if how good it's gonna look in the shot. I'll spin
it's
it
gonna
around
look even better in
everybody.
person, y'all. I'm hyping it up.
That's clean. Hey.
And I'll show everyone the inside for the life hacks for all those the gamers of our age. Got a little salt and pepper in their beers. They remember some of these codes and whatnot. Like I said, the life hacks there. The Konami code.
Yeah.
Love
they
that.
got the Sonic. See if we can see it on this side. You got the other.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you can look at it real quick, what those life hacks are without even doing that. So, again, we're blessed to be able to work with both of your organizations to provide our audience with gaming content made by people of color. I mean, honestly, when you think about video games, you just think of the big publishing, big developers and stuff. You don't think about the independent ones, as well as the people who are behind the scenes on it. And for me personally, the gaming theme, it's been something that's been, jumping around in my head for a while now, because my son, he's in college and he wants to get into game design. So I felt not so much that this box automatically represent what he wants to do, but it allows me to then dig a little bit deeper into the behind the scenes of the gaming industry. What is he potentially going to be doing with his career, hopefully in the gaming industry?
Well, I have a comment on
Go
that.
ahead.
One,
Go ahead,
you need to send your son our way. Specifically, send him my way too. I teach game design. I teach 3D modeling. Black Voices in Gaming is here to support what y'all are doing, but also, we want to support the entry of new voices as well. So don't be a stranger. When it comes to this box, because I know there's going to be people in our audience as well as yours that are ready to receive it. For those who are just hearing about it for the first time, where can we find out where to subscribe? Where can we prepare our hands for the receipt of this upcoming game box?
If you go to otakunoir.com, it might be easier to see it this way. Just otakunoir.com, all one word. You can go online now to purchase the box. It is $60. But we also have the Affirm option, I believe, so that we can, if you want to, break it down into installment payments. But this box doesn't ship until September, so you have until August 28th to place your order. As time proceeds, we will let people know a little bit more of what's going to go in the box. We have a lot of great things in store for you. I guarantee you, everyone will be happy with what's inside these boxes.
Oh yes.
Excellent.
Oh yes. So y'all stay tuned and save your pennies and your nickels and your dimes, so you can get this box because it's going to be
Bookmark
Definitely.
bookmark that webpage.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, follow us on Instagram. We'll definitely let everyone know more about the box as as the time goes on. We'll be revealing stuff, not exactly what's in the box, but more hints so that way you can to whet your appetite to let you know what to expect when you get this box.
They said they're going to tease y'all. Well,
Excellent.
Hanif K, thank you so much for coming on and spending some time with us and telling us about the Blurred Box. Make sure you go check them out. Make sure you follow them on their social media because listen, they're doing the game box, but they're going to keep making boxes, and I definitely know that there'll be something that you'll see that you'll love. Like I wanted the cereal box. I'm a little sad that there's no cereal in it, but I want the box, and it's
You can
still
use it as a cereal box holder for yourself.
Yeah,
You want to
that
put
is
your Cheerios
true.
inside.
That is absolutely true. I might do that. I might go get some
cereal.
Cocoa Pebbles and stick it in there.
Yeah, you just put,
Anyways.
you put the cereal in it.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine having some chocolate frosted flakes and pulling that out for somebody who did not know it wasn't a real
Thanks.
cereal? That would be great. That would be great.
That's a flex.
But anyways, we have come to the end of our time, and it's been great. This interview has been so eye-opening. Please continue to do what you guys are doing. It really is I don't know. I say everybody's inspirational, but Kay, you're inspirational, girl. I know you want to lurk, but I'm sorry. I'm say your name every time I go somewhere and be like, yeah, have y'all heard of Kay? She got that. But yeah,
Hey, please don't do that. No. We don't need to do that. We don't need to do
She
that.
just slides off screen no.
All him. I promise.
she says that, but she showed up on the interview. But anyways, guys, that's it for us with this interview. Stay tuned for more. We'll see you soon.
That was the latest trailer from Corrupt. We're with the creator himself, Jesse Wright. We've been talking to Jesse for a long time when we used to host mix events at Evo. You've been to GDC, the Afro Tech showcase. You've been going everywhere. You had Black Salt Corruption, and now you're really getting ready towards the launch of Corrupt. How's it going?
Man, it's been a crazy journey so far, but it's been an exciting kind of road developing Corrupt, and starting with Black Salt Corruption and transitioning into Corrupt, and then kind of getting it where it is now. It's been an exciting process for sure. And hey, shout out to you guys for sure. Seeing everything from being at mix events and stuff a couple years back and seeing how everything has progressed now. It's shout out to you for that. It's been really awesome seeing this platform grow.
Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure.
I think it's been. I've had a chance to check out Black Salt Corruption. That's actually where my knowledge about this game really came into place. And so when I heard about Corrupt, I was like, wait a minute, I know something's changed. And so I would love to hear about how you came up with the name, a little bit of the background in it, and just your relationship to fighting games.
Yeah, so kind of going with Black Salt Corruption. That was kind of a whole different project altogether, where I got to collaborate with one of my mentors who owns the Black Salt franchise, and we just had a random idea one day of, what if, I made a fighting game that kind of brought some of your characters and my characters in, and just like an arcade experience, something like the Dreamcast days, and that's kind of where Black Salt Corruption was created, and then kind of going from there. I think we did, just Steam Early Access, and then we had started working on trying to get it on the Switch, but then COVID had happened, and it was so crazy, like getting through lot check and stuff like that. So in the background, I had always been working on Corrupt. That was like, again, Black Salt Corruption was bringing together his property and mine, and so Corrupt was that's been my baby since I was in like high school. I've been writing about Gatling. So being able to finally have the opportunity now to bring this story and make a game around it and everything has been like super awesome. And then going to what I've been with the fighting game community and genre, like I've been competing online in tournaments for so long, and been fortunate to hit some leaderboards and stuff to where I've made a lot of friends that are in the fighting game community, and I go to a lot of those events as well. So naturally kind of wanting to make a fighting game and playing and consuming a lot of the fighting games that are out on the market, it's just kind of always been what I love and wanted to do. So, yeah.
So the game has progressed over the last few years. You worked with a few other publishers to help you get to where you're at now. Can you tell us about the progress that you've made up to this point and kind of where you're working on the release for the game?
Yeah, so I've worked with a couple different publishers now, getting to this point, and really what it's been is, a fighting game is such a niche genre where publishers, they get excited about it, but then it's like, when we actually sit down and try to come up with a plan on how we're going to market it and roll things out, that's when it kind of is like, okay, we don't know if we're the right fit for this project. So it's never been any like bad blood or any horrible situations or anything like that. It's just been more like, okay, this isn't the right fit for us, but hey, we'll help you, along the road or whatever. And like the progress I've made so far is also just being able to build my team up a lot stronger, where before it started with blueprints that I made, and I am no programmer by any means or anything. So putting together blueprints and just having something functional at one point was super exciting. And then some of the people that I actually met in the Unreal forums that I started working with and kind of slowly building a team. But then more recently, there's a development group that they've been making some different fan fighting games that have done like a pretty big splash where the fighting game community went crazy over. But we kind of teamed up and had talked about working together a lot in the past, and then finally kind of took that step once I started working with a new publisher, and now things have just been progressing well, and we can finally see that light at the end of the tunnel. Definitely will be content complete. Now we can see those dates and those milestones and things. So as far as the release window, no hard release date just yet, but we definitely are moving towards it now finally.
Yeah. So you talked about building your team, and I'm curious, what about building your community? Fighting games have a specific resonance with the Black community. We all play fighting games here. We're looking forward to fighting games on the way. I'm looking forward to Corrupt. How do you get your community charged for a title like this?
Yeah, so it's been a while since I've shown any gameplay or anything on Corrupt, because it was kind of at that point where I noticed I had dropped some gameplay and would get like a really big response, but then it's like I'm showing them exactly like what we just got to that day. So I'm like super excited about it. Like, oh man, let me get this out here. Then it goes crazy. And then it's like, I don't really have much to show, like a couple weeks later. So it was like, let me build this up. Let me actually, work with some fighting game community members, let them test the demos out, different builds and stuff that we've had. And so that's really been how I've done it, is just kind of having builds that I'll let fighting game players like kind of get their hands on and do some testing and, get different feedback from them. And just kind of working with them, but kind of been quietly doing that so far. But now to try to let people know that we actually are kind of back on track with everything, it's like getting these hype trailers out, trying to show people like the different characters, kind of reintroducing the ones they've seen with the new mechanics and everything in place, and then start showing all the different characters they haven't seen. And hopefully we'll build it that way. And again, just you got to give people access. You got to put the controller in their hand with a fighting game to really get that feedback. So getting to that as soon as possible, and then kind of going from there with more trailers.
Last time I checked out the game, it felt really good. I mean, you've been shooting me over builds every once in a while when you feel it, right? I just want you to tell the audience, like, this is like the new like season of fighting games coming out. We got Tekken 8 coming out. We got Street Fighter 6 dropping actually in the, right now. So
yeah, I was saying like tonight, tomorrow, right?
So can you explain like how it differentiates itself like from other fighters in its genre so people could kind of know what they're kind of getting into?
Yeah, so Corrupt is a 1v1 hyper fighter. So it has like things like super jumps, air combos, air juggling, and different things like that. There's a lot of really, there's a lot of defensive mechanics, but because the characters all have like these crazy movesets, so every character feels like dramatically broken. But because there's so much defensive options and things like that, you're able to like, no one's more broken than the other, right? So it's just been kind of exciting building from that. And seeing all the new fighting games that are coming out, it's been super hyped because now people are talking about fighting games, so it's going to get a lot of people actually trying different stuff out. And when they're like, they jump into a legacy title like a Street Fighter or a Mortal Kombat and realize what legacy is, right? They jump online, they might still have that taste for a fighting game, and that's where Corrupt will be there, So I think, yeah, that's really the biggest thing that'll differentiate it, though, is just that fast-paced hyper fighter.
Word. Do you have a favorite character?
I don't know if I should say that, right? Like all of them are my favorite. But,
right.
But definitely, I would say I find myself trying out the character named Destroy, the one with the mask. Kind of leaned a lot on that character. I like his moveset.
I have a brief follow-up, and I want to toss it back to you, Justin. If there's not a favorite character, I would love to know what influenced, some of the art direction for the game.
So that was definitely from just people in my life. Like Gatling was actually kind of modeled after how I envisioned my brother growing up. I'm the little brother. So I put a lot of those qualities and stuff into Gatling. And then like with the character Beretta, that was based off one of my sisters. And, so I put a lot of that kind of in the characters, and yeah, just based off people I know and like real life experiences.
That's love.
Yeah, that's super good. I think that's kind of a common theme around the developers that we've been speaking with today. They put a lot of personal influence and their culture and life into the characters that they're creating and the worlds they're building. Can you talk a little bit about, because you kind of briefly described how you started making these characters when you're very young, how that process has been evolving them from being, you know what I mean, being a youngster, now being in the game industry and then building characters out. How has that progression been?
Yeah, it's been really crazy. Seeing like, I can't really draw that well, but going from the sketches that I first had of the characters and like the different artists that I've worked with getting to now, it's definitely been crazy working with like a bunch of different illustrators and character designers that would bring a lot of like, they're like, I read what you have about him and I see this design, what if we do this? And, just being open to making sure the characters, it's like I had this vision for Corrupt and these characters basically as being something like, I love the Final Fantasy and the Tales of and like JRPG genre. And it was really like, man, it'd be dope to have a black lead character in a Final Fantasy type game. And so that's kind of where the direction came from with a lot of the characters is I kind of want this Final Fantasy futuristic type aesthetic, but having more diverse characters in it, just more representative of, what my life looks like. So yeah, it's been crazy seeing it evolve now and seeing Gatling kind of look like a real person. And it's just like, yeah, coming from little sketches in high school to now has been pretty crazy.
That's
super cool.
That journey is without a doubt inspiring many other people in the fighting game community, up and coming individuals who maybe are seeking an entry into games. And so I'm really appreciative of you being able to share that story and just the arc of where it started to where it is now. I would, if I can squeeze in with the time that we have left, I would love to know what's on the horizon for Corrupt, this year, next year, and where can people look forward to catching up to those updates?
So we will definitely be dropping more character reveals as we go on throughout the summer. We'll definitely have a lot of info dropping at and around EVO this year. So I don't know the exact dates off the top of my head, but definitely tune in to EVO if you're excited about what's going on with Corrupt. And like I said, we're just going to do some character reveals. Then we're going to start showing the different modes within Corrupt. And then we have to show you why it's called Corrupt. That's one thing I haven't done yet, is why is it misspelled Corrupt that way? That's something that we're actually going to reveal a little bit later on here and kind of ramp up to that. So yeah, just more introduction to characters in the world, the gameplay, what to expect, and then eventually we'll get to that launch trailer. And yeah, hopefully it's not too far, but won't say anything right now.
I was about to ask you about the misspelling. That's one thing I think over the years I never ever asked you. That was like one of my questions.
Yeah, like you did that on purpose, right?
Oh yeah, a lot of people bring that up, like, oh, it's misspelled. And I'm like, I thought about it. I'm aware. So
yeah, you get mad at me and I spell it right. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yo,
right.
On, you can't this on me. That's hilarious. Well, where can we find you on social media and everything? Because we want to make sure that folks can follow you and check out the game.
Yeah, definitely. Right now, you can check out me on Twitter at JW_correlated and misspelled, like how Corrupt is. And that'll be probably the best spot right now, but working on revamping our website and everything. And we also will be dropping a comic this summer as well, the first issue of it. So yeah,
that's dope. Definitely wishlist the game, cop it when it comes out, check out EVO. Thanks so much, Jesse. It's awesome to see your progress on everything, man, that you don't quit. I think that's one of the most awesome parts about your your hustle and to see people in this space. It's like, I think we're all like-minded in this circle, so it's dope, man.
For sure.
We're really pulling for you.
Thank you. And yeah, it's can't give up. This is the kind of industry, the world we love, so it's like, I'm gonna make this Corrupt game happen no matter what, man.
Right.
Hey, good. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
That was so dope. Now we're back at it. The Triforce is back. It was like 2 off every it was like 2 offs every time. We never got to interview. You know what I mean?
I know.
Right.
Next time for
sure. I mean, what was some of your favorite stuff that you were able to communicate with the devs about?
I think having Lisette come on and seeing someone like another Black woman being in that place and starting a studio was really, really cool. And I think like her talking about like being in rooms and seeing like where you might be one, like the only person there or just one of two was really important, because I think that's what I'm experiencing in the game industry, where it's just me and I'm looking for other people who look like me and who have like worked that hard. So that was really cool. But then again, all of our guests were really, really dope. Like they all brought something incredible to the showcase, as they always do. Past guests as well. Derek, what did you think? What was your favorite moment?
It's hard to have a favorite moment. I always enjoy getting to celebrate like the diversity in both games and content that gets brought to the show. And so, there's something special about everybody who had something to talk about. I really enjoyed getting to check out Breeze in the Clouds, really enjoyed getting to chat with Jesse about Corrupt and seeing where games are intersecting in different mediums. And speaking of different mediums, the Otaku Noir box, was also really good to chat with them. Yeah.
That was really cool. And Justin, just so you know, like you should tell everybody. Everybody needs to go and try to win one of these gaming boxes because we're gonna have some merch in it.
Right.
Black Voices in Gaming is putting some merch in this box. Dames for Games is putting some merch in the box. You don't want to miss out on this one. You really don't.
You
Because like
definitely
you already see
don't. There's gonna be some dope stuff coming through. Yeah, I'll tell you mine. I'm mad biased though. I'm not gonna be playing the diplomatic game in this piece. Come on. Like, no. I really like you're right. All of them were dope. I really liked Indigo because I remember when I was a younger developer, and then she's got that energy to really bring herself and her life to her game. And you don't always often see that, and that's what it's about when you're going indie. Also Danielle, she's working on Hyper Light Breaker, and I was about to like mess up the name, but Hyper Light Breaker at Heart Machine Games, and just her experience, and then the studio being so cool to allow her to have her creative freedom and express herself in the game was pretty excellent. So it's awesome to see ourselves in these places and these spaces, and I can't wait to hear more about what people are doing. So that's it. We're gonna be closing off the show. I'm always so amazed at the talent, of course, hard work that we get to showcase here at Bvig, and we got sponsors who have been amazing, who've been working with us over the years. PlayStation, ID at Xbox, again, Raw Fury, Razor, Wilson, Sensini, who is supporting our developers with legal help anywhere from incorporation to IP law, publishing contracts, and more. So great.
That's right. And I want to give thanks to I'll take it. Thank you for the baton. Thanks to the Mixed team and Media One, of course. They've continued to break barriers and build a foundation for indie developers, and it's been an amazing journey to watch. Thanks to our broadcasting partners. It goes to Twitch, IGN, Steam, and GameSpot. And of course, don't forget about that Steam event page. The Mixed event page on Steam is where you can learn more about the Bvig titles, buy the available games, or add them to your wish list. Wish lists are really important. Let me tell you, they help developers a ton. So be sure you add the ones that you like, or add them all, because again, they're
add all of them. Put them all in there.
Buy them.
Buy them.
Buy them.
Demos.
While we're talking about buying and adding and all that stuff, don't forget to donate, guys. Like, grab your phone, snap that QR code. No amount is too small, and we truly appreciate it. It really goes a long way. It helps us to continue this wonderful showcase, show you awesome content, and help the developers who are creating and making their dreams come true. Also, the merch. I mean, I can't say enough about the merch. We are going to be expanding it. We got t-shirts. I mean, we gonna have hats. We gonna do everything. So make sure you're checking out the merch. And don't forget to follow us on our socials. All right, that's Black Voices in Gaming on Instagram, BVI Gaming on Twitter, and Black Voices in Gaming on YouTube. Guys, check it out. Go to our website as well if you want to find out what we're doing next. That's blackvoicesgaming.org. Now, before I end, we also have to give a shout out to Netflix again, because what they're doing with us, this partnership is incredible. And we are so honored to be partnering with them on our first Accelerator program called the Experience Excellent Accelerator. Guys, I'm going to say that one more time. Experience Excellence Accelerator, where we will be helping to fund 4 Black developed mobile game prototypes. The Accelerator will include workshops and curriculum from professional mentors and networking opportunities, with the goal of helping to boost professional developers progress on their games and get them ready for further investment or publishing opportunities. If you're interested in being a part of the Experience Excellence BVIG Netflix Mobile Game Accelerator program, please submit your application and go to the website for more details. Remember, that's experience with an XP, not EXP, XP. Guys, this has been absolutely incredible as always. I love rocking with the entire BVIG team. This showcase continues to grow and get better. We're constantly looking for ways to uplift the Black creators in the game space. Like I've always said, and will continue to say, you deserve to be seen, heard, and respected. We're building a foundation for future generations. We appreciate all the encouragement from the gaming industry and will maintain our focus of making the community we love more inclusive and better for everyone involved. If you want to find out more about me, be sure to check me out on Twitter at DMBC32, or now you can check out Dames for Games on Twitter as well, where I will be giving you tons of information about upcoming shows where we'll be constantly highlighting women and their contributions to the gaming community and industry. Passing on the baton to Derek.
Picking it up from below.
That was a confusing Derek.
Yeah, I was confused for a minute, y'all. Go on, you know.
Thank you again, everybody, for joining another great show. You know what we're about here, and that's supporting the developers. I can't say enough to be able to check out those Steam pages, check out those games, and show your support as well. If you want to continue to see content like this, consider donating. I love bringing this content and hosting these developers with the likes of Justin and Dez. But if you want to know more about me, feel free to drop me a follow on at Twitter or whatever you prefer. That's Derek V Fields. Justin, what do you got to say before we go? Baton.
I'm trying to take
baton
out
gets to pass one last time.
the last baton pass. Again, you can. Yeah, I need to grab it. Yeah, you can follow Black Voice in Gaming at BVI Gaming for sure. You could find me at IcyJman everywhere else. I hope you all enjoyed yourself. Thanks for rocking with us. Thanks to devs, all our sponsors. We had a blast introducing you to some new games, developers, and the people making moves in the industry by doing their own thing. I'm your host, Justin Woodward. See you soon. Peace.